This is going to be a little bit about a book called The Friends of Eddie Coyle. In a book, someone, Elmore Leonard, told me to read The Friends of Eddie Coyle. He made it seem mandatory, so I did. Turns out somebody, his agent, told him to read it. He did. He thought it was the best crime novel ever written. He said it made Dashiell Hammett look like Nancy Drew. The book had everything Leonard wanted. It was always up to speed. It was authentic, guns, mugs, cops, and it sounded right. Coyle is a book that plays to the ear, convincingly. It is told mainly in a series of conversations. The reader has to lock in the context in order to understand. The speakers are a bunch of lowlifes, criminals, and cops. They illuminate the flow of the main action, getting and selling guns, robbing banks, but they are also cluttered with the side stuff they have to deal with. The wives on their backs, girlfriends who talk too much, health issues, gas-guzzling cars, screaming kids, bills to pay. I read a book about Hollywood featuring a cast of above-the-line talent, producers, agents, creative executives, vice presidents, financial officers, lawyers, and they went at each other with notes and memos. They went at it pretty good. They were all in suits. Coyle, in comparison, feels like a look at a Riedel food chain, a slice of one. It's almost a nature study, how it works and what happens when something goes wrong. There are plans, and something almost always goes wrong. It is direct, crude, and violent, but there are nuances and subtleties too. The book is unusual in several regards. Not the least is that there is no protagonist, only a set of antagonists, fish in a barrel. These people are trying to survive. They are also trying to score. Very, very risky. The book gets all of this wonderfully well. These people have to be careful. They live in a world of close or no margins. You can cover every angle and still go down. It's good to have friends, but trust, these friends, it's very iffy. You can count on everyone to save their own ass first. Peace and quiet are at a premium. For Christ's sake, one character says to another, you aren't going to start in on me, are you? Here's how this world works. The tumbler's in the lock, as told by a bartender who also does a turn as a hitman. I'm leaving, he says. Around an hour or so, I'll call back, see if anybody called. And if they did, you tell me. And when they do, well, say I'm going to the place, and I'll be there as soon as I see a fellow. Okay? The chapters that are conversations are good, lively. The scene of a robbery is transfixing, cut like a movie, cut like a diamond. Also the arrest of a suspect in a very public place, the parking lot of a train station. There are no colorful touches, only a bare, spare account. That makes it more effective, in my opinion. During the robbery, a bank executive who is being held hostage looks at the black barrel of a large handgun and he thinks of a vacation with his family at a lake. They've come to shore in a boat. The wife and kids get out, walk to the cabin. He lays a string of fish on the shore, turns back to get the equipment out of the boat, and when he turns to shore he freezes when he sees a big timber rattler coiled by the fish. It's the only time in the book that Higgins steps away from the immediate, but the menacing comparison of the handgun and the snake is riveting, a double down. Given all the dialogue, I thought the book cried out to be done as a play. David Mamet comes quickly to mind. And when Coyle is delivering guns to Scalise, and they talk about women, I thought, holy shit, this is The Sopranos. I could see David Chase soaking this in. The book was published in 1972, as he's writing episodes of the Rockford Files. And when two cops are discussing at length the finer points in the construction of a cheese sandwich, I could see Quentin Tarantino reading the book behind the counter in the video rental store, taking it very much to heart. I would not be surprised to hear that the Coen brothers were reading it too. It's a blueprint, a model. Coyle was George Higgins's first published book, and according to many, by far his best, although he wrote about 50 more. No problem. One great book is more than enough for one man. It's a book that answers questions like this. Why should I be doing favors for a guy who is not doing me any favors? And this. Is there an end to this? Does anything ever change in this racket? This racket is what the book is all about, and Higgins brought it back alive, and threw in a timber rattler, too.